Alrighty, black people, you feeling good today? You feeling happy? You feeling strong? Yeah, Marvel doesn't want you to feel that way at all. How many times that we must remind you that we should not be waiting for these big companies like Marvel and including DC, despite me liking DC and some of the stuff that they have. We cannot be relying on these big companies to give us exactly what we want. So for those who are a little bit confused on my little intro, it's been recently announced by many people that Wonder Man has been canceled despite it being nominated for an Emmy. Blade is now officially dead, and it's not because of Marvel announcing that it's dead. It's because of the main actor, Mahershala Ali, came out himself and said, "I'm not doing the movie anymore. I'm sick and tired of waiting." And of course, Armor Wars is presumably dead as well. And at this point in time, we must realize right now that we can keep begging and begging and begging and begging and begging Marvel to do the things that we want. How long have we been asking them to bring us Ghost Rider? How long have we been asking them to give us Blade? How long have we been asking for the return of Shang-Chi? How long have we been asking for all of these different characters to be put into the MCU in a well-formatted way, and they still don't do it? And even when they do it, it just comes out and falls flat. Characters like Captain America, or Sam Wilson in this case, is still being sidelined, not even in the Doomsday trailers, but mainly in his own movies also. That recent Doomsday trailer just only showing a fraction of a moment of time that Sam is just staring at someone. I'm assuming it's going to be looking at Steve being that nomad. This man clearly is not even in the focal point of his own poster. The new Doomsday poster doesn't even show Sam being in the forefront, so we know he's not even going to be a main focal point in that story. And we all know that the main focal point of that movie is going to be Thor and his fight to protect the world against Doom. He's going to be the main focal point, not Captain America, which is Sam Wilson at this point in time, not Shuri, not any of those other characters. It's going to be Thor. And he has been one of those characters that literally has been having the least amount of problems in the entirety of the MCU. He has one movie that literally did so terrible that no one cares for, to the point that no one even watched it as far as I'm concerned, and only looked at synopsis to understand what happened in that movie. But yet Blade, a movie that literally already did well years ago with Wesley Snipes, for whatever reason just can't seem to get off the ground. Armor Wars, a movie or a series that we all have been wanting to see because we like Rhodey. We like this version of Rhodey that's been presented in the MCU. He's been a loved character, but ever since he got hurt in Ultron, that man has been kind of sidelined for a long time. So when they said, oh, we're going to give you guys Armor Wars, a led story following Rhodey and his, I don't know, fight against the government or something. I believe it's following the comic run. I'm not fully familiar with the comic run, but I would have loved to see what they represent, to see if I would actually read the comics. But now I'm just only going to read the comics because that has now pretty much been in development hell for about 5 years, and I cannot believe or pretend to think that that movie's ever going to come out at all. And it's every single time that a lot of people want to complain and yell and get mad at Marvel, to the point that I'm like, I've disconnected from Marvel years ago. I've disconnected from DC years ago. I do not expect them to do the things that I want. I've been wanting to see Robbie Reyes to come back in the MCU for a long time. Even though I didn't really fully watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I liked Robbie Reyes in the comic books. I like Robbie. I like Johnny Blaze too. They announced a Ghost Rider TV show, and I would have loved to see Robbie come up in that TV show, but I cannot expect them to do that. I know that story is going to mainly follow Johnny Blaze. But Robbie Reyes could have came up at maybe like 2 other points in the MCU, like Doctor Strange's mom, because he was stuck in the dark dimension with the Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And people been claiming that, oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is somewhat connected to the MCU, and they have made some confirmations and done some things that point back to that. But for whatever reason, Robbie Reyes didn't show up in that movie, so I cannot expect that. A lot of people want to point out to the MCU or Marvel or DC that they have some kind of racial undertone to these things. And hey, that isn't an impossibility, but a lot of you guys want to point out that it's mainly towards black folk, like, oh, you guys just don't like black stories. And I'm like, bro, at least some of you are getting put into development. At least you guys are not completely forgotten about. There are multiple minority characters that were introduced into the MCU that we do not know where the hell they are. We do not know what the hell they're doing. We don't know what happened to them. And for whatever reason, you guys are thinking like, oh, it's only for black people. No, it's for all of them. Miss Marvel hasn't shown up since the Marvels. We don't know what the hell she's doing. America Chavez, since Doctor Strange's mom. The actresses have been going to the premieres, but they literally have not been putting her in any of the projects. Despite a lot of you might be saying Shang-Chi was a pretty decent movie, so I was waiting for a Shang-Chi 2 or for him to show up in any of these other movies to help continue his story. This man has not shown up, and the next time he's showing up is in Doomsday? How many years since the Shang-Chi movie has come out? Are you being genuinely serious? So as much as there might be possibility of a racial undertone, in simple terms it's this: they do not know what they are doing. It's the same concept when it comes to Marvel Rivals, because Marvel Rivals gives costumes and suits for a lot of different people, like events, like the current moment that they have right now with an Egyptian themed one, and people are being mad. I'm like, hey, what happens? Why isn't Storm getting an Egyptian themed suit or whatever the case may be? And I'm like, bro, the main person who should have gotten one is Moon Knight, and Moon Knight did get one, but it didn't really even count. And there's a lot of characters who got them who we don't understand why they got them in the first place. There's a lot of major conversation and wondering what's going on, but they literally just do not know what they are doing. As much as people might be saying, hey, please appease to the audience that is coming to you, let the audience guide you, they most likely will lead you to some gold, and just pick pieces apart that might actually help put your product forward and be higher in the graces of the people who generally like these kind of comic spheres. You don't have to appease every comic book fan, because not everyone has the right thought process in mind when it comes to these things, but you have to understand that if you apply a little bit more comic knowledge and a little bit more continuity to these interactions when it comes to skins or events or certain modes, you can actually have a lot more people who may have never read the comics in their entire life be interested in what's happening and be like, oh, I'm actually curious about this comic run. I wonder what happened. What happened with Old Man Logan? What happened with Moon Girl? I've never heard about this character before. What comic books is she in? Why the hell is Blade Moon Knight? How did that happen? What comic book run did that happen in? Oh wait, that happened in Marvel Zombies at one point in time? Oh wait, I'm cool about that. I would love to learn more about that. That's how it works. So basically that ignorance just bleeds into the movies. That has been around for a very long time, and they just refuse to leave out of that ignorance. They just kind of just lean into it as much as possible. Even with Spider-Man Brand New Day. Spider-Man Brand New Day was actually a really solid film in the context of Spider-Man, because it feels like a Spider-Man film. In the past Spider-Man films, it felt like he was just trying to be a mini Iron Man. I said that in my review. If you're curious about that, I uploaded that recently. It's the most recent video after this one, so you should probably check that out. You know, that'd be cool. But either way, that is a problem that a lot of people have been pointing out also. Like, come on. But to get back to the main point of me making this video, the reason why I wanted to make this video, because as much as this outrage is understandable, and I can understand what people are feeling from black people, from people who are fans of just those characters in general, like I'm not trying to specify from those people, just anyone in general who might be a fan of these characters, you have to understand that you cannot depend on them. You cannot depend on them no matter what the case may be. Always just understand that you have to go in with a level of understanding they will probably disappoint you, no matter what the case may be. Even certain decisions that shouldn't be so hard, it's going to be 100 times harder for them to do for reasons that we don't understand. I'm not in the company, I don't know what they're doing. I feel like it should be simple, but for whatever reason, it's a big problem. Like if you wanted just a simple black writer to write a black character in DC, it shouldn't be so hard for that to be put into the forefront, but it takes them a long time for them to do that. It's only recently we're starting to get more ongoing series. They're releasing a Vixen and a Static comic coming out soon. So hey, we're getting that stuff and we're having black writers do that. Now granted, I wouldn't have cared or wouldn't have minded if it was different writers either, but hey, cool, they meet the requirement. But the only other question comes up is that how many people are going to support it? How many people are going to support the Vixen comic? How many people are going to support the Static comic? And they're going to be like, I don't know what to do with this information. They didn't like this comic book. They didn't buy it as often. I don't know what to do with this. So it becomes this back and forward. It's the same thing when people say like, I want more representation of this. And then I bring up indie comic books, graphic novels, or books, or even animations that appease that very, very, very representation that you crave. Take, for example, Harry Potter. I've heard so many times for years, ever since when I've heard about Harry Potter, that a lot of people want a black Harry Potter or a black-led Harry Potter, like with magic and fantasy and schools and all these different things with some form of magic. Well, there's an indie comic that I recently bought that I've been recently enjoying called Children of Thread, being written by this guy. I am not going to attempt to say his name. I'm being so serious. His name is very hard to say. And in very simple terms, the magic system around black individuals or people in general who have the ability to use magics using sewing needles. It's a really cool idea, and the story isn't around schools and not Hogwarts realistically, but it has that same magic system. and you're following two characters who are being blackmailed by a massive organization and are trying to navigate through that system. It's a really cool idea and it's a very interesting story. Or hey, you want to talk about some, I don't know, black female led stories that have maybe some spy espionage, and maybe you like the looks of beautiful black women in these comic books and you want someone to draw them in very good looking formats while at the same time not being afraid to go into a little bit risque side of things. Hey, guess what? There's Love in Dark Places, and this comic book is being written by a black woman, and this comic book is free. It's free. You can read it for free. It's there. You can just hop in, read the 4 chapters that is available, tell them you like it. Hey, if you have the money to support, because she also has a Kickstarter, jump into Kickstarter, give her $5, give her $10, give her $100 if you feel like it. It's not that hard. You can do that. And you can support a comic book that could probably be something that could be really big in the future for black women or for black folk in general, and that goes for every other minority that exists in this world that might want to see the representation that they seek. That's why people say either do it yourself or go find it yourself. If you're complaining about Marvel or you're complaining about DC or you're mad about what they are doing, there is no point in complaining, because you're not going to get anywhere with them complaining. They're not going to give you what you want. Even if they give it to you, it's never going to be as good as you expect it to be. Sam Wilson Captain America should be 10 times better than it is right now. Even characters like Bucky should be better, but they're not nearly as good as they should be. So this is the lesson for all of you out there who are complaining and being mad about Marvel and DC, or anybody that might not be doing the representation that you seek. Find the representation that you seek. Do not believe in these companies. Do not try to put faith in these companies. Do not do it. You will always and always be severely disappointed. You will never win. There's no winning in it. No amount of complaining and being mad is going to stop them. They will continuously mess up. They will give a gem once in a while, but do not think it's going to be consistent. And if you want to know more about some of these comic books and the prices that they have and the artists that are behind it and the writers behind it, because some of them are writing and doing the art by themselves along with them doing the story, like they're the ones doing it. I made a Google Doc from a previous video showing a lot of these different indie comic books that exist that you can check out, and you can probably help put a lot of support behind them to the point that they can become animations or movies or even longer comic books. Whatever the case may be, they can expand further instead of just having to depend on these big conglomerate comic books. There's so much more out there than just the big ones. You gotta just look for them, and it's not that hard to find. Just type in Google black webtoon or black comic book or Asian comic book indie or whatever the case may be. It's not hard to find. Hell, if you want to use AI, I'm not the biggest fan of AI, but if you want to be a lazy bum and not look for it and just use AI, use AI. AI is going to help you. AI is going to give you an answer as quickly as possible, but search it up on Google. That's just 10 times easier. But yeah, that's my rant about Marvel's cancellation of all these different TV shows and movies, because honestly, I wanted to do a little bit more of a concrete breakdown, but at this point, there's no point in me doing that, because it's becoming a very mind-numbing venture to think of all these videos and breaking down and getting mad and breaking down why it's so bad and why it sucks. Like, look, there's no point in complaining. Yeah, sure, you get views doing it, but it doesn't lead to anything. It doesn't make them want to do it more. They're going to decide when they do it. It's up to us to say, hey, okay, they're deciding to do a Vixen comic, we're going to go support it and make sure that it gets sold out so that way it can keep going. Just like how they did with Absolute Green Lantern, just like how they did with Absolute Superman, just like how they do with a lot of different comic books that are coming out in recent times. That's how it works. Well, let me know how you guys feel about the cancellations about these movies, because honestly, it's just a pain in the butt. Leave a like on this video if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe for even more videos just like this. It's your boy Kadukun. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.
FMA, handle business, don't play. On point when it comes to the anime. Jack and Daxter, ayy, let's go. The ultimate heroes, don't stop, we on the road. Kadukun. Yeah, welcome to the channel.